Good morning and welcome to Self-Care Sunday, where we explore what it means to fill your own cup. Say hi in the chat so I know you are here, and we can get started on this super important conversation. Okay, so I was talking to my colleague the other day about self-care because we all pretty much know this is my favorite subject. And she said, wait for it, self-care is BS. Well, that got my attention because I pretty much think self-care is the most important thing in my life, since it is what allows me to do all of the things that matter to me and not be a burnt out hot mess in the corner. So I asked, okay, why is that? What makes self-care BS? Well, it doesn't work, she said. Okay, what do you mean? And she says something like, look, I have been doing a ton of research on self-care. Every website tells me to do something different, and I am so frustrated with feeling depleted. So I try it. I try all of those different options. I've tried everything. I know I need to exercise, so I bought a ton of gym equipment during COVID. But these days, I'm so tired that I never have the energy to use them. I downloaded a journaling app because that was supposed to help. And I did it religiously for a whole month, and it didn't make me feel any better, so I stopped. There's so much out there on the benefits of meditation, she said, and so I tried it. I really did. But I get so irritated with the voice that tells me to focus on my breath, and it actually makes me rage. She told me about how she's booked massages and pedicures and taken bubble baths. She said she's even taken time management courses to see if it's going to help her be less stressed. She feels like she's tried it all and she has made zero progress. That is why she thinks self-care is total BS. Okay, so I could see where she was coming from. And to be honest, there was a point where I was there too, trying so hard to feel better and to find the joy, not really making any progress. But I've learned a lot since then. And so today I'm going to share 3 reasons why your self-care efforts may not be working and how to fix that. Okay, reason number 1 is that you are wound too tight. Your nervous system has been pushing through for way too long. And yeah, she's right. You just can't focus on your breath when your nervous system is in fight or flight. And you know you're in fight or flight if your mind is racing, or you're jittery or panicky or anxious, or if you have like that squirrely brain where you can't really focus on anything. And you could also be in freeze as well, like it's fight, flight, or freeze, right? And so we get confused about those 2 things, because freeze is where your brain shuts down, where you lose your train of thought or your words, or your memory is terrible and you have a hard time like making decisions or even keeping a conversation going. So if any of these sounds like you, your self-care needs to focus only on a nervous system reset at this point. Because that overactive stress response can be causing like all sorts of issues inside your body, like digestive issues, heart issues, blood pressure issues, and even mood or perspective issues, like focusing on all the negative things. So before you do anything else, the first step is to shut down that stress response, which I know is kind of what she was trying to do with her journaling and her meditation. But sometimes you need a more targeted exercise that's going to focus solely on that. And so if that's you and you're wondering what to do, I've actually created a burnout escape plan that starts with a nervous system reset. It's like an immediate action checklist that you can do during your workday, while you are parenting, or like even while you're in meetings, to start resetting your nervous system and get your thinking brain back online. And so I've created this this plan, and I'm going to put it up on my website later today. So you can find it at mindbs.ca a little later today. If you want it right away, send me a message and I will send it to you. Okay, so that's the first reason. The first reason that your self-care efforts aren't working is because your nervous system is on overdrive, and you need to first calm that before you can be effective in anything else you do. Okay, the second reason that your efforts are not working is because you are not addressing the root cause of your issues, which is your old programming. So let's think for a second about an analogy, like a field like weight loss. Okay, it's a huge, huge field. And you may have tried some weight loss in your life, and you may have noticed that the really effective weight loss companies or gurus are realizing now that there's one big thing getting in the way of people's success, and that is their mindset around their weight. Okay, now they call it mindset, but I call it old programming. Old programming about their body and their food and their habits and even their identity around all of that. So weight loss programs can address just like the surface stuff, like what to eat and getting regular exercise, that sort of thing. But it is way more effective to also address the old programming under the surface that's driving your behaviors. And it's the exact same thing with self-care and really every other aspect of your life. Because if you believe, like usually subconsciously, that you're only worthy of love if you are helping everyone or being super productive, there's going to be an innate part of you that's going to need to be helpful and productive all the time, which makes it super hard for you to rest or do anything for yourself. Like your old programming is the reason that you feel guilty for sitting down when there's laundry to be done, or for spending money on something for yourself, or for taking a sick day, or for leaving the dishes for your husband, even though it's his turn. We feel so guilty about that. So in my program, Bridge to Your Best Life, I had someone tell me that she couldn't come to our coaching meetings because she had to put her kids to bed during that time. Her youngest kid is 9. So that is an example of her programming telling her that she is only a good mom if she tucks them in the same way every night, not just 6 nights a week. And the flip side is her old programming is telling her she is a bad mom if she goes to her self-care meeting and the kids read themselves a book, and then she goes in and gives them a kiss at 8 p.m. after the meeting is over. Our old programming just gets in the way of our best efforts. Like she signed up for the coaching because she knew she needed it. And then her old programming came in and messed it all up, keeping her stuck in the same old patterns, which is what it wants to do. It creates patterns for you to follow, and it really inhibits you from changing those patterns by telling you all sorts of lies, more mind BS. Okay. And so the very next step after we reset our nervous system and before we attempt to do anything else is to uncover our mind BS and take a critical look at what we find there so that we can determine which of the programs that we find are true and helpful and which ones are total BS. And it's only after we do that introspective work, like that things like journaling can really start moving us forward, and we can start setting healthy boundaries around our energy, and we can maintain them because we're starting to believe that we are indeed worthy of them. Okay, step one or problem number one, nervous system's on overdrive, won't let you do anything else. Problem number two, your old programming is running the show and it won't let you do anything else. Okay, reason number three that your self-care efforts aren't working is because you're not seeing the bigger picture of self-care, meaning that you are focused on just one activity, the activity that you're trying right now. But self-care is never just one thing. Self-care is caring for a human. You, my darling, you are that human. And so I'm sure you've cared for other humans in your life. Like, think of a child. Can you just put your child on the treadmill for 30 minutes a day and say, there, cared for? Or can you send your child for a pedicure and say, there, cared for? Like, it sounds kind of ridiculous when I say it like that, right? So think about what a child needs. First and foremost, I would say that they need love and acceptance. And they need to feel kind of useful and like a valued member of their community. And they need outlets that bring them joy, that might be like sports or dancing or art or reading or writing, or even just like hanging out with their friends. Okay. And they need like mental stimulation, learning or trying something new or exploring a new place. And they need support as they grow and change and develop. So self-care means giving yourself all of those things. It means talking to yourself in a loving way, like you would a child. It means accepting all of you, hot mess and all, like you would a child. It means making goals for yourself that fulfill you. And that is very different from our programmed goals that our mind BS tells us will fulfill us, like getting a promotion or a bigger house. It means celebrating your wins and like sitting with and honoring your emotions. And just taking the time to get to know yourself, be with yourself, enjoy yourself in the same way that you would want to get to know and enjoy your child. So I read some interesting advice that said to grow a child's confidence, all you need to do was light up when you saw them. And they would know they were loved and cherished and accepted just as they are. So what if you did that when you saw yourself? Every time you looked in the mirror, you were like, oh, hi, you. Let me give you a hug. I'm so happy to see you. What would change for you? I get tingles when I say that, because honestly, most of the time, if I catch my reflection in the mirror, I'm not very nice to myself. Like, my first reaction is usually, ugh, do I really have that many wrinkles? Or some self-depreciating comment about my weight or something like that. So self-care is tiny aspects of love that accumulate into a bigger picture of a happier and more confident you. Okay. So to sum up, your self-care efforts will skyrocket if you reset your nervous system, bust down your old programming, and care for yourself in all of the ways that you would care for another human under your care. So it kind of like seems easy-ish when you break it down like that, but we all know it is definitely not easy. Actually, out of all of these, resetting your nervous system is the easiest one. The rest comes with small mind shifts that accumulate over time. Your mind has spent your entire life creating and solidifying programs, and it's going to take some time to uncover them one by one and replace them with new programs that are more true for you and represent who you really are, not what society told you you should be. And so if you've been feeling like self-care is BS, and you'd like to explore how to shift your efforts to allow you to meet your goals, I'd love to have a heart-to-heart with you about your unique situation. Maybe explore what you've tried in the past and see if we can uncover what got in the way, and even give you a few strategies to see if you can make some real progress into your happier and more fulfilled life. If you want to chat, let me know. We can make a Zoom call or we can just chat by text, whatever feels good for you. Remember, this is my most favorite subject and I'm always thrilled to talk about it with everybody. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with this challenge. I challenge you to start right now by celebrating yourself for showing up today. You did. You took time out of your busy schedule to learn some tips and tricks to move you forward. And so that is self-care. High five, my friend. You did it. So if you would like to start on your nervous system reset, I will be happy to send you my free download, my new burnout escape plan that I'm launching on my website today. And I hope that you have an amazing day. Have a lovely one. See you soon. Join me in my Blissfully Busy Facebook group to see if we can figure out how to dodge burnout together.